Look at me, it's Timothée, about to hit him with the ZTST. Let's do a problem, let us see the probability you see me on TV.
Hey everyone, welcome to Ajay Discusses Movies, a show in which I discuss movies both old and new. Today we're not discussing a movie. I did watch a new movie this past weekend called Undertone. It was underwhelming. Really bad film. Wouldn't suggest you guys watch it. But we are discussing the 2026 Academy Awards. So, what are the Academy Awards? As we all know, they are a yearly annual award show that lasts between 3 to 90 hours, usually on a Sunday evening, in which the best films or the films that are nominated for the Academy Awards end up going to LA for one night as they celebrate one another. It is a circle jerk of sorts. It's long, it's tedious, at times it can be absolutely boring, but we do get winners, we do get losers, and snubs along the way. So, yesterday, I did not watch the Academy Awards. I want to be very clear here, I had more important things to attend to, but I do have a list of winners and nominations for several categories, and we'll discuss them. We'll do our best. Obviously, this is a little bit of a more relaxed, chill vibe in comparison to the film reviews, because I realize, and what we've all realized, is that the Academy Awards really don't matter. It's cool. It's a great award, right? It's nice to see the pageantry of it all. It's nice to see those who have put in their work and their effort finally be accepted for such work and effort by the Academy. But at the same time, it's quite apparent that the Academy really doesn't care about film, right? And I think that is now out in the open. There was a recent article, I think it was either on Variety or Vanity Fair, I'm not so sure, but there was an Academy Award member who admitted that there were certain films he did not watch that were nominated for Best Picture. You would think that a person with that kind of role and with that kind of responsibility would take it professionally. But no, he just didn't. So what I've come to realize about the Academy Awards is that, yes, it's an award about films. It's an award that is there to highlight films in the filmmaking industry. But at the same time, the glitz, the glamour takes primary role. And you'll see this not just with the commercials, but just in terms of the red carpet and the after party and all of that. It's really the fashion houses that matter more. It's more about the Christian Dior's and the Louis Vuittons and the Dolce & Gabbanas or the, Perry Ellis's. I mean, I'm just saying it. Okay, Tommy Hilfiger. I tried to humanize it by putting a more sort of, middle class aesthetic in there with Perry Ellis. But at the same time, what matters is the fashion. It's the pageantry of it all, and that matters more than the films. And unfortunately, that is the case. But I do have a list of the nominees and the winners for several categories. Obviously, I will omit the animated shorts, animated features, animated documentaries, that kind of subsection, because I didn't really watch any of those films. So look at me criticizing the Academy for not watching films, as I myself did not watch any of the animated shorts that were nominated. But we will start off with Best Cinematography. So the Best Cinematography was won by Sinners. The other nominees were Frankenstein, Marty Supreme with Darius Khondji, Michael Baunim for One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams by Adolfo Valenci. I can't even read my own handwriting. It's already going so swell. But Sinners won for Best Cinematography. I understand. I mean, listen, Sinners, based off how it looked, you can definitely argue that it did have good cinematography, especially in like the first half of the film. When there are certain like train sequences, train platforms in which like the lighting really stands out. But for me, I would easily have given it to Marty Supreme. And when we go into our discussion of the Academy Awards that happened last night, Marty Supreme, in my opinion, got robbed. It was nominated 9 times and it won 0 awards. That's an embarrassment. They should have at least won 1 award. At least 1, in my opinion. But again, it just goes to show you that you would assume that the Academy would give at least a bone to them, but it just wasn't the case. You would think, just wasn't the case. So, Sinners won for Best Cinematography. Okay, that's cool. Sound Design. F1 won. They won the Academy Award for Best Sound Design. The other nominees were Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Sirit. I didn't watch Sirit. But in terms of the nominees, for Best Sound Design, where is Warfare? Where is Warfare? Warfare had some of the best sound design I've ever heard in a film this past year. The fact that they weren't even nominated for any award goes to show you the incompetence of the Academy. Again, there are a lot of snubs. I didn't do an episode on the Academy Award nominee announcements because I had a lot of thoughts that came to mind for that, and I didn't want to just say it out in the open and just act on pure emotion. But again, where is Warfare? Warfare should have at least been nominated for Best Sound Design. And in terms of other films that were not nominated that I felt should have been nominated, where is No Other Choice? No Other Choice was in my top 5 films of 2025. It was an amazing film that depicted the class struggle in a way that I've never really seen before. It was what Good Fortune should have been. It was an amazing film. Now, I understand that there's been a lot of industry hate on Park Chan-wook, and for understandable reason as well. Apparently, he did cross the picket line during the SAG strikes, but he should have been nominated. Nouvelle Vogue, where is Nouvelle Vogue? Obviously, I didn't watch Nouvelle Vogue, but it's a Linklater film. You would expect that to be nominated. Where is Black Bag? Where is Steven Soderbergh's Black Bag? That is easily one of the most well thought out movies I've seen this past year. Easily. It is a great film with some memorable performances. It features a great ensemble cast. Where is Black Bag in these nominees? At least nominated for Best Original Screenplay. Easily. I mean, that should have at least been nominated for Best Original Screenplay. Where is Sorry Baby? Listen, where is it? Where is Sorry Baby? And where is The Phoenician Scheme by Wes Anderson? Those are some of the notable nominees notable films that did not get nominated for the Academy. Where are these films? Now, granted, this was a very competitive year. There are some great films, as we've seen before. I mean, look at Best Picture, right? Look at who won for Best Picture. It was PTA for One Battle After Another. The other individuals were Bugonia with Yorgos, F1 with Kaczynski, Frankenstein, Del Toro, Train Dreams, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Secret Agent, Cinema Value, Sinners. Yes, they nominated 10, and those 10 films are quite good in their own respects. But you should have at least nominated those films as well. Obviously, I don't want to make it to 15, but just those films in other categories, I think you would have done gold. So yeah. Anyways, sound design, F1 won. I understand the reason as to how they won. Music, original score, Sinners won with Ludwig Göransson behind it. It's funny to think about Ludwig Göransson because originally started making all Childish Gambino music. I remember back in high school, I was a big Childish Gambino fan. My apologies on that. But growing up, I was a big Childish Gambino fan. To see him going from making music to a rapper singing about how he likes Asian girls to being nominated for Oscars is quite a 180 turn if you catch my drift. So Ludwig won for Best Original Score. Bugonia was also nominated. Max Richter, One Battle. Frankenstein. I think that's a pretty solid choice to win. I would have Ludwig win for that one as well. Best International Feature Film. Winner was Sentimental Value. The other nominees were It Was Just an Accident, Secret Agent, Sirit, Voice of Henry Job. I would give it to Sentimental Value, easily. Voice of Henry Job, I hear a lot of great things about it. I hear it's a gut-wrenching film to watch because it deals with the conflict in the Middle East. But I would give it a Sentimental Value. I think Joachim Trier is just an amazing director, and to see him win for Best International Feature Film, I think that's a testament to his greatness. So, Best Writing for Adapted Screenplay. One Battle After Another, obviously that was adapted from a Thomas Pynchon novel from Vineland. Other nominees: Bugonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Train Dreams. Yeah, I would give it to One Battle After Another. If you win for Best Picture, you have to win for one of the two screenplays, so that makes sense. Bugonia, I felt as if Bugonia was snubbed a lot of times in the Academy Awards. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't really think they won any Oscars last night. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but at least Jesse Plemons should have been nominated for an Oscar for Best Actor. I mean, he was the glue that held the entire movie together. If you don't have Jesse Plemons play that crazy, nonsensical character that delves into conspiracy, and a character or an actor that is able to highlight that to the best of his ability, the film falls flat on its face. So, obviously, we'll get into Best Actor later on in the discussion, but yeah, One Battle After Another, that makes sense. Best Writing for Original Screenplay. Sinners wins for Original Screenplay. Yeah, I think you should have given that to Marty Supreme. Yeah, just my opinion. Marty Supreme easily should have won that. Listen, I like Sinners. I think Sinners is a good film. Is it in my top 10 films of last year? No. It just squeaks that out. I think it's in the 11th spot or 12th spot. It's a good film. I do like it, but there are far more deserving nominees than Sinners. Blue Moon, Linklater, Sentimental Value, Joachim Trier, It Was Just an Accident. Again, it's a toss-up, but I would have given it to Marty Supreme. Supporting Actress. So the winner is Amy Madigan for Weapons. Thank you, Academy, for giving Amy Madigan the Oscar for Weapons. It is well-deserved, long overdue. Weapons is a great film. I put it in my top 10 films of last year, and we kind of know that the Academy doesn't really care about horror movies. You would expect that the one genre that makes its money back in the box office, you would expect that genre to be appreciated by the Academy. Again, movies are dying, right? Like the idea of people going out on a Thursday, Friday night to watch a new movie, dressing up to their best attire, to sit down and listen to an artist delve their work and show their work to a commercial audience and a packed theater. I would love to be a part of that. It's not there anymore. That is such an antiquated idea. It's such a 20th century idea that, to me, when you see a film that is not just an original screenplay, but made its money back in the box office, generated hype, to see that film not be appreciated or lauded by an antiquated system known as the Academy Awards, you would expect that to be appreciated, to be lauded. I don't know. Weapons also got snubbed, in my opinion. But I'm happy to see Amy Madigan win. The other nominees were Elle Fanning. Elle Fanning did well in the movie. I don't know if I would nominate her for Best Supporting Actress because she didn't really have that much screen time. Tiana Taylor won Battle After Another. Sentimental Value got nominated twice for this award. And Sinners with Yumi Musala.
What?
Masala.
What?
I don't know. I don't want to butcher that name anymore. But yeah, Amy Madigan won for Weapons. I thought it was a toss between Amy and Tiana Taylor. Honestly, like I wouldn't mind if either of them won. But Amy Madigan, I thought, gave an amazing performance. That entire last 20, 30 minutes of that film is just pure insanity. And I highly suggest you go watch it. It is a great film. I loved Weapons a lot. And go check out our channel. Go check out Ajay Discusses Movies, where I discuss that movie with Nathan Long. All right, supporting actor. Winner Sean Penn for One Battle. He wasn't there. Kieran Culkin accepted the award on his behalf. Quite funny. I think at one point Kieran said he didn't want to be here, which is hilarious. Other nominees, Benicio for One Battle, Elordi, Frankenstein, Delroy, Lindo for Sinners, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. I would have given the award to Benicio del Toro just because I'm partial towards his acting prowess, and he's one of my favorite actors. But it's a pretty stacked pretty stacked nominees. I mean, to be honest with you, you could have given the award to anyone, and I would have been happy about it. But it's good to see Sean Penn win for one battle. Obviously, the Christmas Adventures meeting scenes in that movie was hilarious. Again, this is just all off the cuff, right? I did formulate my thoughts beforehand, but it's more or less off the cuff because if the Academy doesn't really care about the nominees, why should I, Anyways, Best Lead Actress. So Jessie Buckley won for Hamnet. The anti-cat allegations that were levied against Jessie Buckley did not affect her in the slightest.
Are you dogs or cats? Where are you guys?
Dog.
You said it was such I'm with you, but
I don't like cats.
Fuck cats, honestly. Fuck them.
Are you actively trying to ruin your career? What's...
She won for Hamnet. I liked Hamnet. I thought it was a good film. Is it good enough to be winning Oscars? I don't know. I really don't know. Other nominees were If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You by Rose Byrne, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Renate Reinsve for Sentimental Value, Emma Stone for Begonia. I would have given the award to either Renate or Emma Stone if I was a part of the Academy. But Jessie Buckley won for Hamnet. I do like her as an actor, and I thought she made The Bride a palatable film despite it being pretty bad. Best Lead Actor. This is the award that everyone had their prop bets on. This is what Kalshi reportedly had over 100 million in bets for this particular nomination. Again, you may have to check the number on that fact that I just gave you. But MBJ won. Michael B. Jordan won for Sinners. Timothée Chalamet lost again. He lost again. In my opinion, I felt as if Chalamet should have won that. Now, I understand why he didn't. He does seem like the kind of guy that rubs Hollywood the wrong way. If you've seen the Academy Award, I wouldn't call it process, but the Academy Award campaign season, you'll notice that a lot of individuals within Hollywood have been besmirching old Timothy's name to the fullest extent. They truly do not like the competitive Mamba mentality mindset that he brings to filmmaking and to the arts. But I don't know. I mean, I think MBJ was amazing in Sinners, and I think he should have gone he wasn't my initial pick to win, but I don't mind him winning, if that makes any sense. All right, I think Chalamet should have won, but again, this is a stacked. Again, all these films, or most of these films, I should say, should have been nominated. They're all great, and this was a pretty stacked year in terms of movies. Now, is it 2019 where you had Bong Joon-ho and Scorsese and Tarantino? No, but this is a pretty stacked year for films. I mean, look at the nominees. Chalamet for Marty, Leo for One Battle, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Wagner Moira for Secret Agent. All of these guys should have been nominated, and they did. The only snub was Jesse Plemons for Begonia. We mentioned that already. MBJ won the award, and I'm happy for him. That was a great speech by him. Chalamet lost. Now, did his opera ballet comments affect the winning? I truly don't think so. Yes, they did poke fun at it, but at the same time, and I'm kind of happy that I didn't really spend that much time talking about the whole Chalamet controversy, because there are so many video essays online that just discuss Chalamet's opera ballet comment ad nauseum, and I'm just like, if any of you spend the time of day talking about Chalamet's comments on opera and ballet, if you use that time to support opera and ballet, it wouldn't be considered an antiquated art form. I'm sorry. It's a non-story. It is a nothing burger. We have far more important matters to talk about within the film world than Chalamet's thoughts on opera and ballet. We are seeing Paramount buy Warner Brothers. We are seeing one of the big four studios buy another big four studio, creating a monopolistic turn in the filmmaking industry, which means less jobs, less opportunities, and it wasn't mentioned whatsoever last night. There are far more important issues to talk about than Chalamet's comments on opera and ballet. I'm sorry. Out of my system. I don't know. It just felt like there was this tweet. I really want to credit this to someone. I may have to look it up again. But there was a tweet that said, during this Academy Awards season, there's been far more talk about Chalamet's thoughts on opera and ballet than Leo DiCaprio buying property in Israel, Brad Pitt allegedly beating up his ex-wife, Angelina Jolie. And it's one of the main reasons why, in their words, they don't like the Academy Awards season. And that's true. I think that there's far more important controversies that we should talk about than, say, what Chalamet thought about opera and ballet. What are we doing here? Why aren't we talking about that? What is going on here? I'm not going to say that. There was a great SNL parody of Tucker Carlson this past weekend. So, but anyways, it was more or less just a Nick Mullen impression. But what am I talking about? Yeah, so MBJ won for Sinners. I'm happy for him. It was a really great speech. You can definitely tell that the audience inside that theater wanted MBJ to win. And they wanted Sinners to win. But we do have Best Lead go to Michael B. Jordan. So, next category, Best Director. PTA won for One Battle, deservedly so. One Battle was my favorite film of last year. And to see PTA finally hoist that gold statue really did it for me. It was a really sentimental moment. It was one of sentimental value. So yeah, PTA won for One Battle. The other nominees, Chloé Zhao for Hamnet. I like the movie. If she won, I would have literally set fire within my room. Chloé Zhao, Hamnet. Safdie for Marty Supreme. Joachim Trier, Sentimental Value. Coogler for Sinners. Yes, all good nominees, but where is Guillermo del Toro? Where is Yorgos for Begonia? Where is Park Chan-wook for No Other Choice? Again, we've already mentioned these films and their snubs earlier today, but again, these should have been nominated as well. All right, Best Picture. As we all know, One Battle won. The other nominees, Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Train Dreams, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Secret Agent, Cinema Value, Sinners. So, heading into Sunday evening, a lot of people had Sinners winning for Best Picture. I like Sinners. I think Sinners is a good film. It's bordering on great. I liked the film when I initially saw it. And while I can understand why people enjoyed the film, I would argue that One Battle is just that much more better. And I would say that the majority of the films, with the exception of F1, I didn't see Secret Agent, and I didn't see Train Dreams. But with the exception of F1, I think all those other films I thought were better. Maybe Hamnet. I think Hamnet and Sinners, I would honestly say Sinners is better than Hamnet. But again, Begonia, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, Frankenstein, I think those films are all better than Sinners. That's not to diminish Sinners. I think Ryan Coogler is an amazing director, and I'm excited to see his Blank Check movie. He's due in part for it because of just what that film meant for the industry. Again, like, this is a man who essentially bankrolled the entire film. Like, he learned from M. Night Shyamalan to really bankroll his own films and to have a stake in the overall creative process of his films and to have an ownership stake in that. And I think that really ruffled a lot of feathers within the industry. You obviously saw that variety of hippies happen. So Sinners, I think, is a great film. I mean, a good bordering on great film, but I think One Battle After Another, I really felt as if One Battle After Another handled themes and ideas of Sinners, but in a more so of a mature way of handling it. And more importantly, with some incredible performances. I mean, the ensemble cast for that film is just amazing. They all gave their A game, and not only is it a funny film, but I think it will stand the test of time. And I think PTA did an amazing job in terms of adapting the writing of Thomas Pynchon for the modern age. So, all that is to say, those were the winners, the nominees, the snubs, the duds of last night in terms of Conan O'Brien hosting. It was funny. I was at an Irish bar for St. Paddy's Day weekend, and Conan O'Brien was on television, and I'm just like, this is Irish excellence in a nutshell. People hamming Guinnesses, guzzling down Guinnesses, playing Irish music while eating baked potatoes while watching Conan O'Brien. What more can you want as an Irish person? If you saw that image, that is the perfect distillation of what it is to be Irish. Just have some kneecap and Sinead O'Connor in your set. But yeah, I mean, I thought Conan did an amazing job. Just have Conan host the awards.
What's your name?
John, I'm tour guide.
Guess who I am?
Like a TV.
Yes,
Okay.
TV, yes.
TV.
Yeah.
I mean, the Guinness Roast Test, where the unique process of roasting takes place in these
TV.
drawers.
Yes.
Hoster.
TV host. That's right. You know my work.
Honestly, just have him host the awards from here on out, because he does a great job at not only poking fun at himself, but poking fun at the absurdity of the award show. And who is more likable than Conan O'Brien? Who really is more likable than Conan O'Brien? I would love to see Mulaney host. I think Mulaney does a great job in terms of balancing the fine line between being relatable and also being a little bit more upscale, which I think is a delicate line that the Academy also wants to cross as well. But yeah, those are the Academy Awards. 98th Academy Awards. I'm kind of tired, honestly, of talking about it, because at the end of the day, it's literally just a vehicle for fashion designers to get their product out. That's what the Academy Awards is. It's just a Met Gala with films being played in the background. That's what it is. You can pony it up, you can glitz it up, you can talk about the importance of films, and yes, films are important, but if films were important, then why would they cut certain speeches out? Why would they stop people from having their speeches being able to be shown on screen? I don't know. And also just the entire press around it. I mean, listen, like, I think having press talk about films is important, but there are a lot of times, and there are several outlets out there that truly do not care whatsoever about the films that are being nominated. And you see that at the red carpet, you know? You see that. The first question that they ask is, what are you wearing? Not, what are your thoughts on the Academy Award season or the award season coming to a close? How do you feel about the film that you made? How do you feel about just the overall feeling that you'll have to start over again, or that this chapter in your life is over? I know that all these questions are kind of gay, but but these are questions that should be asked, you know, not like, what are you wearing? Like, obviously that's part of it, but it's an award show about movies. It's an award show about the movie industry. Ask questions in regards to that, in relation to that. I don't know. I'm sort of going off the deep end here, but that's it for today's episode. I really don't think that this was any importance whatsoever, but I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I don't know what movie I'll discuss next time. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a blast from the past. Maybe I'll invite someone over. Maybe it's a new film that will come out later this week. I do not know. I'm happy I didn't discuss Undertone, because talk about boring. Talk about underwhelming. Anyways, that is it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.